move that out of the way. We're not getting paid for that.
Hi, guys.
To the seven-a-side team.
To another Baldy. So, Attilio Lombardo.
Who are you subbing out, though?
Can we not just shove him?
Yeah, but it's a seven-a-side. You got to can't have 8 and 7-a-side.
He's big as well.
I know, yeah, big man up top.
Oh, should have had like 2 5-a-side teams, and then these two like face off against each other.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. I'd go with getting rid of Costa myself. There we go.
Checkmate.
Pop him in that mug there. Is that how we're starting this one?
Yeah. Talking about replacing an imaginary 7-a-side. I had to think about that 7-a-side team. Oh, it's a very Serie A centric.
Yeah, which is good. That's great for me. I just realised we can't start like this because it's meant to be an audio podcast.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep this in for the...
We'll keep this in for the video, but we can't really...
For the old Montevideo.
If you're listening to this, it's not that great because you can't... I mean, if you're watching, it's not that great, but if you're listening, it's even worse.
Basically, we've got... What are they called again? I have to read the bottom of them.
Pro Stars is the little one.
Pro Stars. Corinthians.
Corinthian figures, there we go.
Lovely.
Little ones with the big heads.
Attilio Lombardo and Frank LeBeuf. Frank the Beef. Or is it just Frank Beef? I think it's Frank Beef.
Yeah, and Frank Beef was a character in Trolleyed, the supermarket.
I never watched that. Was that one on Sky One?
Yeah, but I say he was a character in it. I don't think he might have appeared in it once because it's Mark.
Was it him?
It wasn't Frank LeBeuf, so it was massively disappointing. But yeah, Frank. I'm sure he was called Frank Beef or Jeff Beef, something like that.
Just looking at these figures, there is a Gianfranco Zola one.
There is. My foot's probably in the way of him. There we go.
Do you remember Rentford Rejects?
Yeah.
He was in an episode of Rentford Rejects.
No, he wasn't.
Along with Martin Keown.
What? In Rentford
yeah.
BBC?
Nickelodeon,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I remember right, I can't... What were they called? The baddie team.
Oh, I can't remember, but I know it.
So,
they wear black.
Yeah. Did
Baddie
James Corden play for them?
He might have done. He might... Should we have a quick look? You keep telling your story and I'll say if James Corden was in.
And Martin Keown played, I think, for the Rentford Rejects, but he was like a really honest, clean player. And Zola played for the other team, and he was a dirty player. So basically...
So they've swapped.
Yeah, they've gone Blazing Squad.
Flip reversed it.
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick look now to see if James Corden was in Rentford Rejects.
I used to enjoy watching that. With Bruno De Gradi.
Tell you who was in it. Yeah, he was in it. He was called Razor.
Razor.
Tell you who was in it. Rhino.
Was he?
Yeah, I think. Is that the same Rhino? That's not Rhino from Thingy, surely.
Gladiators.
Yeah, surely not.
Wrestling.
Surely not.
Then there's the keeper who had the glasses.
It's Mark Rhino Smith. It just said Rhino, so I thought it was Rhino from Gladiators. Now I've seen.
Well, if you've got a middle name Rhino, what do you do? Well,
it's something physical, isn't it? You're either a boxer or a wrestler or
a gladiator.
Gladiator.
Because it's not like you're just going to go into the pub or I don't know. It's just like, yeah.
My name's Rhino.
Yeah. John Tiger Smith.
What would yours be?
Well,
if you had to pick an animal for a middle name to be internationally known as.
When I played football, so a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned how, I was referred to as the white Paolo Wanchop.
Yeah.
But another nickname was Tarantula Tony.
Tarantula Tony?
Yeah, so maybe...
Because you've got 8 legs.
Yeah.
And women are afraid of you.
Pretty much.
Whenever you approach a woman,
Yeah.
she has to go and get her boyfriend to come and get rid of you.
Yeah, just whack me with a newspaper.
Yeah, put a big glass over your head. Get a
Throw me out the
newspaper,
window.
Chuck you out the window.
Flush me down the toilet. Yeah, so as a keeper, I save a lot with my legs. A lot of them go through my legs, as you well know.
To say, I've seen you play, and I've never seen you make many saves with your legs. I've seen more go through them.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe tarantula.
Tony Tarantula.
What about
Kelly.
you?
I think I'd be. I don't know. I can't think of anything that would work with alliteration for a start, because there's only like aardvark and armadillo.
What about for the letter B?
Alsatian. B's better. I think I'd be like a tortoise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Because I'm slow.
All right.
I'm
slow. I'm 250 years old. I feel like it.
Yeah, I look and feel 200. Today I do feel 250 years old because I did my run last week.
And how
and I did it at Turtle/Tortoise. Which one's out of the water? Tortoise.
Tortoise, yeah.
Turtles are in the water. I'm not
bit of turtle heading whilst running as well.
There's a lot of turtle heading. Yeah, if you watch this and you're a runner or a jogger, running's better, jogging's messing about apparently. Do you need a poo after a couple of kilometres? Do you ever get that? Because you've started running again.
Yeah. Not really, but I think every time I've been out with you, it's within like the first 5 minutes. It's like, I need a poo.
Straight away. I go for a poo before I leave. Like, even if I don't need one, I go for a try. Like when you're a kid and you're going somewhere in the car. But I put it on Instagram saying like, oh, runners, does anyone else need a poo? And the amount of people that replied saying, yeah, about the 3-4 kilometres mark. I think I'm early because I'm normally about 1.5 in. But yeah, so I did my run last week. I did 94 kilometres in a week for charity. And it was the hardest and stupidest thing I've ever physically done. And bear in mind, I rode a bike to Norwich from Sheffield.
Getting in fights with lorry drivers.
Got in a fight with a lorry driver. I'd only been on my own 5 minutes at that point. None of you guys saw that.
No.
So what happened was there was like a country lane which had traffic lights in it because there was roadworks. But the lane was like bendy and windy like they are. And the traffic lights bit was on green and then there was a bend. So I rode through. But I didn't realise how far the lights and the traffic work was going to be. So it went round a bend and then just kept going. It was probably a couple of 100 metres. And I thought it'd just be like, just round the corner. So basically, as I started going round on green, obviously the lights had changed as I'd gone round the bend. And the cars started coming towards me, but it was single lane because obviously the half was being done. So I pulled over. There was like a farmer's field lay-by entry sort of thing. So I literally just pulled into that about 50 metres away from the lorry that was coming towards me. And I had enough time to stop, get off my bike, get my drinks bottle out and start drinking my water. And the lorry driver assumed that I'd jumped the red light and gone through anyway, because he was like sarcastically clapping me. He was like that, like leaning out the window doing it. And he called me something. I missed the beginning, but all I caught was lycra twat. Which, to be fair, you know, I like wearing lycra, so what? Yeah. But, you know, I was cycling a couple 100 miles, so obviously. So I squirted my water bottle at him because he was right next to me and his window was open because he was leaning out of it clapping. And then he stopped and he called me something, so I called him something. And then he told me he was going to kick me head in, so I offered him to a duel. Yeah. And he declined.
Some fisticuffs.
Yeah, and the guys in the car behind were laughing their head off and put the thumbs up to me.
Yeah.
I wish they were filming because it would have looked funny, but yeah.
I'd
been on my own about 5 minutes at that point.
Yeah. Because
I was with everybody up to that big hill that we went up. And then this was kind of on the way down that hill. So that was the point where I became the lost little straggler at the back.
Yeah.
For 2 days.
And you've recently become a driver.
I have recently become a driver. Man's on road.
So that now
legally
means you can take the rage of being on a bike into the car. I mean,
Yeah.
When we've been in the car together,
Yeah.
there's been quite a few times where, you know.
I get passenger seat rage.
Yeah.
Not a cyclist, though.
No.
Unless they're being a dick. Because, like,
yeah,
you know, like, you're a cyclist.
your dad is.
My dad is. And, that, like, you and my dad both hate other cyclists.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it. But I get that not all cyclists are dicks.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are. And, yeah. But I've never raged at a cyclist. I've raged at everything else.
Taxi drivers.
I've raged at taxi
You'll
drivers.
soon, I mean, you already know, but they're the worst.
Are they worse than, like, imagine a taxi driver in a BMW? Don't see it very often, but would that be the worst combo?
Possibly, yeah.
Sorry to any BMW drivers out there, but this might come as news, but people think you're shit drivers and that you think that you own the road.
Just outright, just mental. Like, when
But I'm a
they're
new driver, so don't take this out on me because I've never experienced this.
It's just, you always have to assume they're going to do something dumb. Something that's going to basically threaten everyone's life.
There's definitely not enough room for them to cut in here, so I'm going to wait for them to cut in, sort of thing.
What you might find, like what I do sometimes, and it's, people might think I'm a bell for doing it. Some people be like, fair play, I do the same. So I was driving back from my hometown, and as soon as I approach...
From Oliver's Mount.
Yeah. As soon as I approach, say, Sheffield, and it becomes 2-lane, you always get the people that are zooming along. So there's a bus on my left going pretty slow. They're dying to get past me. So there's a gap between sort of... The bus is ahead of me, but I'm in the right-hand lane. They're in the left. They could go left, cutting right in front of me. So I put my foot down so that I'm even with the bus, and it's proper shithousing, and they're there behind in a BMW or something. They're dying to get past, and I just go the same speed as the bus. Or, in fact, on the same journey, some people may say it's dangerous, but again,
passive-aggressive driving.
So there's a guy, there's a big queue, because where I'm from, obviously, it's more rural, so you get tractors and whatnot, and because it's a seaside, you'll get people in camper vans. They clog up the road, so there's a bit of a kind of a backtail.
We're stereotyping quite a lot very early in this podcast.
Yeah. So you'll get these cars that are try and zoom, and it's like, you don't, like, whoever you cut in front of, like, it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
So there'll be a gap between me and the car in front, and I can see car behind. They're up my arse, and they're going to overtake. So as soon as you go for the overtake, I put my foot down to close the gap. So they have to drop back in. Like, they will hate me, but...
It's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, but it's funny and passive-aggressive driving. I hate it.
I'm just kind of like... Do you know, in like footy, you know, a stamp on the foot, just to let them know you're there. It's like, don't take piss.
Let them know you're there by making them crash into oncoming traffic.
Exactly.
They didn't pull out, it wouldn't happen, would it?
Not my fault.
Speaking of buses, it just reminded me then of... I don't think I've ever told you about this. I was going to... I can't even remember why or who I was visiting. But I was going to the hospital in Sheffield. And it was... what's it called? The main one. Not Hallamshire, the other one.
Northern General.
Northern General. So I was getting the bus there because man wasn't on road legally at that point. And the bus kind of pulled up, and I saw a guy getting... I don't think I've told you this before. This guy got on, and he's carrying a microwave, right? Not in a box, just like plug dangling down and everything. And he looked a bit odd.
Yeah.
Okay. But then he got on the bus, and I had my headphones in, as you do. Public transport, don't want to listen to anybody. But I thought, this could be good.
Yeah.
It's a guy carrying a microwave that looks a bit odd, trying to get on the bus, that's starting to like get angry. So I pulled my earphones out, and basically he was trying to pay to get on the bus with the microwave.
Were they charging an extra seat for the microwave?
No, he was trying to pay with the mic instead of cash.
Oh.
Yeah. So
right.
it wasn't like when I get annoyed because I had to pay 50p for my dog to sit on the bus, even though she's tiny and sits on my knee. He was trying, instead of cash, he was trying to pay with a microwave because he didn't have cash, but he did have a microwave.
As you do.
As you do. I mean, like,
just carrying it around town.
It could be a really tragic story that he has literally no money, needs to get somewhere. The only thing he can do is offer a microwave in exchange for £4.50 for the bus or whatever. But I don't think that was the case. And he started kicking off, and the bus driver's like, mate, you can't pay with a microwave for a bus journey. And
you imagine when they're
there weren't many people on the bus either, so like it was quite awkward because it's like everyone can hear, because it's not like there was much ambient chatting going. I mean, to be fair, the ambient chatting would have stopped because he started getting aggy and squaring up, but he had like a microwave under one arm, the lead dangling. So anyway, the bus driver then is like, get off, whatever. I'm calling the police. And he didn't. And then he put the microwave on the floor and started like hitting the, like the plastic thing they have. Started hitting that. And I was just like, I kind of should film this for World Star, but I don't want to be that guy. And then someone kind of stepped in a bit and was kind of like, look, mate, just calm down. Take your microwave off the bus and just, you know what I mean? And then he basically, he wouldn't move. And the driver was like a big unit. He got out and just like shoved him off the bus and put his microwave off the bus as well. And the fella just picked it up and just smashed it on the floor, like two hands right above his head, and just like, wah, like Hulk smash, smashed it on the floor. So that's why I assume it wasn't his own microwave. Probably didn't work. He's probably found, you know, when people just put them outside their house for the scrapping sort of thing. He's probably just found it and thought, yeah, this will get me to town or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, I've been running.
Yeah.
So I started running. I did a charity run because if I didn't do it for charity, I wouldn't have carried on running. Yeah. I wanted to lose weight in January for two reasons. One, because I was a chubby boy. And two, my clothes weren't fitting because I'm a chubby boy. And and
wearing permanent Kappa footy shirts.
Yeah, like I'm wearing like a 90s Umbro large and it looks like a Kappa medium from 4 years ago. So I started running to lose weight, but because I'm very, very, very good at finding excuses not to do things, I knew that when it was cold and raining, I'd just go, nah, I can't be asked. So I'll do it for charity.
Yeah.
So that, well, people are essentially paying for me to do this, so I have to do it. So I actually trained for something properly, which isn't like me, as you know.
I was going to say, we didn't train for that bike ride to Norwich.
No. So Sheffield to Norwich over 2 days, what was that? 190 miles?
Yeah.
Ish. And the furthest I'd ridden a bike in the previous 12 months was to Decathlon and back to get new pedals.
Yeah.
The day before.
Yeah.
Which is why I became a straggler at the back. I got knocked off my bike that trip as well.
Yeah.
And that one wasn't my fault.
Was that within about a half an hour's space of getting in a fight?
It was the same day, but it was towards the end of the day. It was by Lincoln. Yeah. And there was like it was an A road, it was a busy A road, and it kind of went up and left round a bend. So I'm on the left, so I'm on the inside of the bend. But next to the road was just like quite a high curb, like maybe a foot high, and like a grass bank on the left hand side. Yeah. And the cars were like overtaking me, and one or two were a bit close, but you know, it's a bend.
I think we got off and just have a breather at that.
Yeah, well, I wish I did, because basically this guy went to overtake me on a left bend, really wide out, like in the other lane, rather than just giving me a bit of room. And I appreciate he couldn't have waited for me, because I was going so slow uphill at one point. My Strava stopped because it thought I'd got off my bike.
Yeah.
When I was still pedaling, it stops if you go below 2 miles an hour, which is like slower than I walk.
Yeah.
But he went on into basically the wrong lane, and then a car came round the bend towards him. So rather than ease in, he just swerved, clipped me, threw me off my bike into the curb. Bike hit the curb, went over, I went into the grass, and he just drove off. He just wasn't asked. So I was like, I wasn't hurt particularly. My leg hurt a bit.
Just angry.
Yeah. Hurt my pride.
Yeah.
Which is more painful. It's more painful, although it's not more painful.
I once came off my bike. I'd gone to the post office to pick some tickets up or something.
What was it for?
I believe it was the Rugby World Cup.
I think it was Jessie J. Because I know that you've been to see Jessie J.
Yeah, I wish. Does she still like perform?
What, that one song that she does?
Isn't she with like Jamming Potato?
No, it wasn't Jessie J I'm thinking of, is it? It's that other one.
Jess Glynn.
Jess Glynn, I was thinking. Oh, sorry,
God.
I do apologise.
No, to be fair.
Yes, yeah, Jessie J's with Magic Mike, isn't she?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, I have had the...
Jess Glynn, Potato.
Oh, God.
That one song that she does.
By the way, I just want to point out, like, she was performing it before an NFL game at Wembley.
It's not why you went, though, is it?
Oh, no.
You went for Jess Glynn.
Blah, 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 blah. That's basically I hear in my head.
What was that?
Yeah.
Was that your
blah, 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 blah. That's basically, yeah.
Is that what every Jess Glynn song sounds like?
Yeah. Remember when she like booted off because she tried to go in a posh restaurant in a
trackies and flip flops or something,
doing the whole "Do you know who I am?"
You know who I am. It's like no. And if I did know that you were Jess Glynn and you did that Jet2 holiday advert, I'd hate you for it.
Yeah. There's even less chance of you coming into the restaurant.
It's like, you're now banned. Not only are you not allowed in, you're actually banned from in, even if you went and got dressed properly. So,
yeah, I was getting them tickets
to
watch the rugby, so...
It's now a rugby podcast.
Ooh.
Which game was it?
Scotland versus USA.
Who won?
Scotland. They were down at half time. All the tries were scored right in front of me. I was like second row. It was at Elland Road.
Which one was this? Was this like 2015 one? Yeah.
Like I know rugby players are big guys, but being stood like basically not much further than like we are from each other. Stuart Hogg was like stood there. It was, do you know, like USA were kicking the conversion after scoring the try. And I just couldn't help. It's like his thighs are like both of my legs put together. They're massive. Like
they're built, aren't they?
They're like them comedy, like ham.
Comedy ham?
Do you know, like with the bone and the like?
Right, yeah, sorry,
like in the Flintstones or something.
Yeah, like if you saw like a cartoon of Henry VIII, he'd eat it in one go.
Yeah,
like with his hand.
Like that was like his legs. They're just like
ham shank.
Yeah, which has another. I mean, it's rhyming slang.
Yeah, and I don't like that you tapped your thighs when I said that. Tapping your thighs when I'm talking about ham shanks.
Yeah, I fell off my bike anyway. It's coming down the hill. Did you go over the handlebars properly? Yeah, but because my feet were in the pedals,
clipped in.
The bike went over me as well, and I was cut open and hurting. But the thing that wound me up the most was the fact that someone drove past, didn't stop, say you're all right, and someone was walking the other way across the road, and just blanked me. And I'm in a
They didn't even film you or anything.
Didn't film me. No.
Oh, right.
No. None of us.
See, that's like...
No 250 quid for them, because I wasn't getting it, was I?
No, well, I don't get that, because, like... Is it just, like... Most people are arseholes, do you think? Because, like, if I saw somebody fall off the bike, I'd go and see if they're all right.
The same thing happened when I fell off my my hairdryer. My little twist and go.
Pedal and pop.
Yeah. So I fell off my moped at a cross junction where on the street I grew up on, and there's a guy walking his dog.
Did you rip your parka with your quadrophenia patch on the back?
With the big aerials, the little flags on.
The mirrors.
Yeah.
Loads of mirrors on the side.
And I fell off. The reason why I fell off, which is so stupid, it was the middle of winter and it had been snowing. So the road was just packed with snow or ice, and I still was like, what I'll do, I'll go on my moped to work, but I'll just stick my legs out both sides.
Fuck off. No, you didn't.
So I was just like, do you know if I fell either way, my leg would support me, like stabilizers.
How is that going to help?
Well, it didn't. I fell off.
What was the best outcome there is, if your leg did stop you from falling off, it's because your leg would dig into the ground.
Yeah.
And
probably break
snap your knee or something.
But it was because I was going so slow, it happened in slow motion. So I just kind of applied the brakes slowly, and the bike, the moped just kind of back wheel went from underneath me, and in slow motion I just slid in the road. Like rotating as well, like spinning.
Like a really, really shit Eddie Kidd or Evil Knievel.
Yeah.
Doing donuts on it.
Yeah.
On a moped on the
but
ice.
just on my side,
on
on
your
the road,
side.
just spinning around like
when you're a kid and you try and break dance.
Yeah.
Go watch this, do the Beatle.
It's like Homer Simpson would do that, though.
That's Jess Glynn, isn't it? He does that.
Yeah, pretty much. Whoop, 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 whoop.
We need to get that as a drop, so we have it and we'll make that for next time.
I don't even know where we were going with this. Oh, yeah.
I was talking about running.
Running.
And then that became cycling, and then that became mopeds.
And then just like getting angry at people. I got angry at someone yesterday, actually. I didn't tell you about it. So, I went to Tim Hortons to get my coffee, my Timbits, and rip down some statues. And
to see the extent of your firebomb damage.
Yeah. And it's that because it's...
Should we... Actually, I think we should say why I said that, because basically Tim Hortons has just opened in Sheffield, but a couple of weeks ago, before opening, someone firebombed it.
And the funny thing is, right next to it is a Costa.
Yeah, that's now out of business.
Yeah.
And they're franchised.
Yeah. They clearly set it on fire.
Not that we're blaming Costa, but it was definitely Costa that set it on fire.
And...
allegedly.
Allegedly,
say that in case Diego Costa hears this and gets us.
Exactly. And it was heaving. There was staff everywhere. To be fair, they got through orders quickly. Anyway, the incident happened outside. So they've had to make a one-way system so people can still go to Aldi. Is
it a drive-through?
Yeah. Okay. But you can obviously go
inside as well, yeah.
So I did because I thought, well, cut out the queue. I'll get straight in. And so they have this one-way system. So the guy, as I got my coffee and that, and I'm leaving, he goes, are you leaving or are you going to drive-through? I goes, so my window was wound down. I was speaking to the Tim Hortons guy. Tim. Man like Tim. And I was like, I'm leaving. He's like, right, left lane. Because obviously it's a two-way traffic, but because I've got this one-way system, it's one lane to go to drive-through, one lane to leave. So I cut into the left lane to go round, and someone beeps at me. Like, they must have thought I was cutting in. And as soon as someone beeps at you, like, red mist. And because my window was still wound down.
Oh, nice.
And I just turned, and I was just like, tosser, and then just drove off.
Tosser?
Yeah.
Called him a tosser? What? When did you become like a 54-year-old middle class Mondeo man? When did that happen? Tosser? You toss pot?
Yeah.
Kirsty called me a toss piece once, and it really made me laugh. She goes, oh, you toss piece. But while we're speaking of aggression and anger, the past few weeks I've been sleeping dead weird. I've never slept great anyway. I always used to be really sort of quite a bad insomniac, to be honest. I'd still be awake at like 5, 6 in the morning and then get up and go to work, sort of thing. And that's died down mostly now. But the past few weeks, I've been having weird dreams, like the one about you and Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
Having a kick-off over a game of Tonk.
And
but I've been like woken up, and I got woken up the other day by Kirsty because basically I was kicking fuck out of her legs in my sleep. But I don't remember the full dream, and I hate people who talk about dreams. It does my head in.
What was it, like a donkey kick?
No, so I was facing her. She was, I think she was like lying on her back or whatever, and I was facing. We have the same spots.
Yeah.
And she's on my right. If I lie on my back, she's there on the
right.
And I must have been on my right hand shoulder. And in my dream, all I can remember is really, really going to town, kicking somebody in the head. So I don't know
it's
what.
Not like a goal mouth scramble.
No, it wasn't like I was taking a World Cup winning penalty.
Yeah.
It was pure violence, and I was kicking like mad. And then all I heard was her screaming because obviously I'm kicking her while she's asleep, and I was kicking her in the legs like quite hard, I think, because she said I was kicking her. I mean, she might have been dramatizing it a bit, trying to get me a red card or whatever. But yeah, and I was proper kicking her like really bad. And I apologise. Obviously, I was asleep. I mean. I actually was asleep. I wasn't just doing a bit of...
well, for those...
air quotes.
Yeah, anyone listening, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a bit of domestos violence.
Yeah.
It was like, I was asleep and I was kicking it. But a couple of days earlier than that, I woke her and myself up shouting, "You fucking train nonce." Genuinely, I can't remember. Again, I'm not going to go into the dream. I hate people talking about dreams, but when they go like, "Oh, and I was in my house, but it wasn't my house," and then we went to London. I said it wasn't London. It's more like, and you're like, none of it's real. Just get to the point. So anyway, all I can remember was having biff with a train conductor, like the ticket man, and I called him a fucking train nonce. But I shouted it full on, woke myself up, woke us both up, terrified. Not as bad as the time as she woke up. Have I told you about the man in the corner?
Yeah.
So I was awake. She'd not been asleep that long, and she just kind of like sat upright like the Undertaker, like dong. And I was like, "You all right?" She goes, "Yeah, who's he?" I'm like, "Who's who?" "That man." "What man?" "That man in the corner." What man in the corner? It's like, "That man in the corner looking at us by the door." Obviously, there's no man in the corner looking at us by the door.
You're like freaked out.
But I couldn't see that there wasn't a man in the corner by the door because I'd put my head under the covers to protect myself, just in case there was. And then she just lay back down.
You move your hands and feet under the duvet so no monsters are going to grab it.
Yeah, you got to be safe, haven't you? You've got to look after yourself. And she just went back to sleep. Terrifying. But my dad's an aggressive sleeper, which I didn't know was a thing. Because my mum's told me loads of times that my dad is an aggressive sleeper. He sleep talks. Now, it's only something he started doing in the past few years.
Right.
But he like me, shouts. Like you've met my dad.
Yeah,
He's such a gentle, polite, doesn't swear much. He's very, very straight and narrow sort of guy. And so I went to Riga. Me and my dad went to Riga. Lads on tour sort of thing, and we shared a hotel room, so it was the same room but there's two separate beds sort of thing. And he goes to bed dead early, falls asleep straight away, unlike me. So he was asleep, and I was playing on my phone or whatever, and he was facing away from me on his bed, and then he like rolled over and goes, "Urgh," like dead aggressive, like DMX track sort of thing, like, "Urgh." And I was like, "Look," I was like, "What's he doing here?" And he just goes, "Fucking English." So anybody who doesn't know, like, we're Welsh. So I don't know.
That's something I'd expect my dad to say.
Well, yeah, because your dad's Scottish.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? Like the anti-English things. My dad's not one of these anti-England, anyone but England kind of people. Yeah. But yeah, he got mad aggressive. But he started being aggressive in his sleep, like loads, my mum said. So now he has to go in his own bedroom, like a separate bedroom, because he keeps being aggressive.
All I can think of now is like being asleep and just like being in like aggressive DMX, and you're just like asleep, just going blah 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 blah.
I'd love that. I wish I slept talk like DMX. That'd be amazing. R.I.P. in peace.
Yeah.
But he started sleepwalking as well, which is weird. He started sleepwalking at 61, 62. But like he was telling me the other day, so him and mum have got separate bedrooms now. Yeah. Because he's a nightmare. So he went to sleep in his bedroom, in his bed, head on the pillow. Sound how most of us would fall asleep. Yeah. And he woke up in the living room on his knees with his face, like his nose, down on the rug on the floor. And he was like, how have I got here? It's like, no, I just got up and walked. Just slept faced. Like Mr. Bean in the beginning of the Bean movie where he falls asleep and falls off. That's how he was. Like his knees were on the floor and he was upright. He wasn't flat, lay flat. He was like curled up, leaning forward, face on the carpet, on the rug. The rug that looks like a digestive.
I've only ever... Well, I had to sleep on my knees, like, for a reason.
I'm looking forward to the reason.
So
I'm not going to make a joke.
Went on holiday to Crete, and it was in the 40s. And I hate sun cream. It cringes me out. Like, I just don't like it on my skin.
Sun cream, that's horrible.
It's in the 40s, so my mum's like, put sun cream on. And I was about 15 at the time.
You've got a ginger beard and half Scottish.
Yeah.
So I imagine you need factor 80.
Yeah. So I put some on and then went snorkeling in the sea all day. And my mum kept saying, put more. And I'm like, it's fine, I've put some on. She's like, you've put it on once and you've been in the sea.
6 hours ago.
Yeah. And I'm
That
fine.
magnifies it, the sea, doesn't it?
Yeah. As I found out. And I got that sunburnt that I had to sleep on my knees for 3 nights.
How do you sleep on your knees?
I had to get a cushion to kneel on the cushion and lean on the bed with my arms folded and just like rest my head on my arms.
Like the airplane crash position.
Yeah. And I've never learnt my lesson.
Never. No, because I've seen your arms after cycling where you look like a refresher lolly.
Yeah.
Like half pink out like a squashum.
Yeah.
Arms like a squashum.
And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, there was one story. Me and my mum still talk about. When I say it was more, maybe I'd had a few beverages that night, and I got in from a night out, and I have no recollection of this. And I'm not one to get like bad. Like I still remember getting in the house. I still, and even that night I remember getting in the house. Maybe not remember going to sleep because I used to always back in the day. Do you know? It might have been before the smoking ban. So showing our age a bit.
Smoking ban.
So I used to
best thing that ever happened for clothes.
Exactly. But I used to. I didn't matter kind of what time I got in, how much I had to drink. I always had a shower before I went to bed. Sometimes I might have not made it back to bed and just fell asleep on the floor with a dressing gown on. With my cat just next to me asleep.
Classy.
And my mum used to always think that I could fall and whack my head on the sink. Or sometimes I'd just be in the conservatory. Anyway, she woke up. She was like, Tony, why have you taken all the pictures down and stacked them in the kitchen? And I was like, I didn't. Well, it must have been you. And even to this day, I was just like, definitely a ghost. She's like,
ghost.
No, I think you were pissed. I was like, no.
No, the ghost.
No.
Must have been a ghost around the same time as...
I must have got in, so the ghost must have hidden and just waited. Think, oh man, I was about to take these off the wall, stack them, but Tony's back. So I'll let him have a shower, go to bed, then or a poltergeist, maybe they...
Do you believe in ghosts?
Nope. I don't think so. No.
I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
But have you ever had an experience that some would maybe say was a ghost?
No.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I have had weird stuff happen. I lived in what was supposedly a haunted pub for a while.
Yeah.
My uncle bought a pub and people said that they'd seen and heard things and stuff, but I'll be honest, I never did.
I used to hear things at night and it just turned out we had a mouse infestation.
Nice, tell me more.
They ate my hats.
They ate your hats?
They ate my hats and then I think they left the last hat and then made a nest in it. And they ate, because I was only young, so they ate some of my toys as well, like stuffed teddies.
Oh man, what, that one your mum got you for your 34th birthday?
Exactly, my Michael Jackson Bubbles teddy. I genuinely had a Michael Jackson teddy. Well, not of Michael Jackson. It doesn't matter. Anything's weird. If it's Michael Jackson, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, but if it's Michael Jackson's pet monkey, that's definitely not weird.
And he's in a pilot suit.
Fucking hell. Was it like one of those monkeys you can hang around your neck? You know, like the hands stick together.
No, like I used to have the Gordon the Gopher puppet, and you could add the Velcro hands.
I did the duck.
Yeah,
I've Gordon the Gopher. I did the duck.
But yeah, his mice just kind of. I had the. In fact, I still have it. There is a teddy in my mum's loft that I still have, and it's this red elephant.
Mum's loft,
and
it's definitely in your room still, isn't it? Next to your pillow.
And the reason why I kept it was probably like some cheap from the amusements or something, but over time, it lost an eye. It lost its trunk. It has about one feather left as a hair. And it lost 3 legs. It might have a tail. So I have this.
So what have you got? Just
I have this red elephant, right?
A red blob
with one eye, 1 leg, a tail, and a feather.
It's got ears. Why they have a feather?
Oh yeah, it does have ears. Yeah, it still has ears.
I'd have a feather. Elephants don't have feathers. Or
Just
do you mean inside?
Like, no, just like hair.
Like an elephant with a mohawk sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you know? I might have a picture of it.
We need to get if you have, we'll put that on the screen now.
Yeah.
And if you have, we'll also put it on the Instagram.
Yeah. I think I have it like on my Dropbox.
Do you have a photo of it as like a before and after?
No, just after.
Just after.
Got to use your imagination to think what it would look like.
I don't want to use my imagination for how it ended up like it did, to be honest with you.
Do you know, I have not a clue. Not a clue. I think
sure
just
you
because it was a
weren't-
cheap toy.
It wasn't just like
Do you know,
experimenting as a young teenager.
when you look back now and you think of some of the toys and what they're worth, I had a conversation with someone at work and he was going back to the ghost thing.
Okay.
I had a Ghostbusters Proton pack. I think that's probably why I didn't bother with ghosts, because I also had the ghost trap.
That proton pack was the one with the thing and
the
like,
yellow
foam
foam
bit turned. Yeah.
And I
I was
had
more of a Turtles man, but I remember it well.
yeah, and I had the trap, so I used to just leave
Ah.
that open at the end of my bed. If I woke up in the morning and it'd shut, I'd obviously caught a ghost.
Caught a ghost.
And he was like, "Oh, they go for hundreds now," and I'm just staring at him like, "What?" So yeah, and then it was stuff like, "Oh yeah, the turtle stuff that goes for this," and I was like, I had like the car and everything.
Yeah. Ecto one.
Yeah.
I've seen an Ecto one.
Have you?
Yeah, in Totley.
Oh,
Not even
okay.
joking. We were going. We were on the train from
Yeah.
Sheffield. I assume I was going back home, but it's the Manchester line. And we saw an Ecto one.
I've been to the
Totley station.
Ghostbusters building in New York.
Oh yeah, is it open? Like, is it a active building or is
Shit.
it?
It's not good.
Is it better,
Like you can,
It's cool for a photo, I guess. Is it still the same
I have
colour?
a
Is it
photo
like a
outside-
red colour in it?
yeah, and then someone's done a really poor painting of the Ghostbusters logo. Like we could do better.
That's
Easily.
sick
So I had a
artists.
photo outside it with a coffee just looking miserable.
That's how most of your photos are.
Yeah.
That or a boxing pose.
Yeah, or a rap album.
Rap album cover, yeah.
Because I can't. The reason why is because I get that awkward. Do you know, with my hands?
That does
Like I don't know
surprise
what
me,
to do, and you kind of hands are all.
There is
So,
that,
so,
yeah.
so I end up just doing a stupid pose, like whether it's boxing, whether it's
Throwing up deuces.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Like your
And then
young
when I
Jeezy
do
or
a
something.
normal pose, hey.
Do.
I just put them on my waist
Hands on your waist.
because I just don't know what to
You're
do
doing
with
the
them.
time warp.
Yeah, my old one used to be like hands down like that. Basically it's some supermodel pose. I say supermodel, underwear model pose.
We've got the thumbnail sorted anyway.
Which it's like do my sexy pose.
I don't know what I do in photos. I found that I annoyed myself when I was doing my running training because, as everybody knows with exercise and sports, if you don't document it on social media,
Never happened.
never happened. So I'd film myself doing like little videos or whatever. I'd put a photo up and whatever. And I constantly kept sticking my tongue out and kind of biting it. And I don't know why. It wasn't like trying to be cool. I think it's because I was just completely blowing out my arse and I couldn't smile. You can't just do a normal nice smile while you've got sweat dripping down your head and you've got a face like a killer tomato. You can't do that. So I'd just pull a stupid face and I just kept pulling the same one and it really annoyed me. That's why I didn't post most of them. All right, it's us, the Turnstile 2. Just wanted to let you know about the podcast sponsor, which is Circa 88. Check out circa88football.com for your football shirt needs.
They've got loads in stock, shirts from all around the world, ones that are really hard to get hold of, like this Mexico 1999 shirt that was used only in the Confederations Cup.
It's lovely that, isn't it? And you can get 20% off. If you use the code Turnstile88 at the checkout, you'll get 20% off your order, and that's for everything on the site.
And also, if you give them a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Circa88Football, and again, don't forget to use that code Turnstile88 for your 20% off.
Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Which are your favourite conspiracy theories?
So my favourite conspiracy theory is that, right, I'm trying to think now, that Spain won the World Cup in 2010.
right?
Because we all know North Korea did.
So you think that
North Korea didn't lose, 7-0 to Portugal or Brazil or whoever. They actually won.
In North Korea, as we believe, they think they won the World Cup because they had doctored footage showing them winning. And because the games weren't shown live, were they? They were.
Or were they? And maybe all of ours are doctored.
Funnily enough, you should say this. Do you know about the 1958 World Cup?
Do you know, when I was looking at conspiracies, that one popped up.
So I watched the documentary about it. So there's a documentary from about 2005 or something like that, early 2000s, which basically goes on to prove that the 1958 World Cup didn't happen, which as a Welshman is quite hard to take because that's the only one we've ever qualified for.
But when you think Pele,
all those goals Pele scored as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
But so there's this documentary about it, and it shows you, and the detail they go into, right, is that the shadows on the players aren't right. There's weird buildings in the background. Because it was in Sweden, wasn't it?
Well, I heard that it was filmed in LA.
Yeah. Because there's buildings in the back that are LA buildings, basically.
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff. But this documentary goes in and it interviews people and blah, 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 blah. And people were like, yeah, it was, the whole thing was faked.
Does that mean Brazil now have to take a star off the shirt?
Take a star off the shirt. Pele gets a couple of goals taken off his tally. So it looks like he'll have to go and play in the street against some kids a bit more to top his tally up a little bit to stay ahead of Ronaldo. But so I watched it, and I watched it all. And it's about a half-hour documentary. It's quite cool. But it's German, I think. German or Austrian or something like that. So it's not in English. It's subtitled is what I mean. But what it doesn't show you at the end, in the subtitled version that I saw, and what a lot of people didn't watch at the end...
Was it a plot twist?
Yeah. It's a mockumentary. The whole thing is fake. So basically, this guy made this film, and then he got like loads of hate mail. He got people emailing him saying, well, I was there. I went to it. Blah, blah, blah. But like, it was a mockumentary that wasn't described or...
So it was a what if?
Yeah, but without being advertised as a what if.
Right.
It was advertised as a 1958 World Cup didn't happen. Here's why.
Right.
But then in like the credits or something, it kind of says the whole thing is fabricated.
Right.
But because I was watching a subtitled version, that bit wasn't...
Ashton Kutcher just like, you got punked.
Yeah. So it was literally like... And it came out about the same time as The Office as well.
Right.
So I don't know how they made it. I don't know whether they just doctored old footage for... Because there's bits with interviews and stuff, or whether they just made people look dead old and just made up who they were. You know, like FIFA people and all that sort of stuff. But then it got me thinking, like, 1966 World Cup that England won.
Yeah.
Is that light blinking then, or was that me? My eyes going funny.
I think it was.
I think it was just having a disco because I mentioned the 1966 World Cup. You always hear about people, like, watching it on telly, and I remember where I was and when I watched that.
Yeah. Celebrities,
Footballers, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I watched that with my uncle. I watched that with my... You ever heard anyone say they were there?
No.
Just saying.
But then, you know, certainly half of my family wouldn't have gone anywhere.
No, there is that. But I mean, you know, like celebrities and footballers from obviously the people who were on the pitch.
Like, I don't know, let's say Michael Caine.
Yeah. Somebody of that era, age to be, because like my dad was old enough, but he was like 8. But like somebody, you know, who could have been of going to football age, you never hear them say they went. Only that they watched it on telly.
Whereas my dad went to the game in the 70s where Scotland beat England and they ran on the pitch and snapped,
with the
snapped the crossbar.
The crossbar thing, the goalpost. Was that the White Horse?
No, that's like 1923.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was that the first?
Was that Scotland? It
was an FA Cup final.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think it was like the first FA Cup final at Wembley.
Might have been, yeah.
But yeah, he was at the old snapping of the crossbar.
I ruined a cup final for me dad. So in 1985, the last time Everton were good. Not the last time they were good, because they won it in 89
Yeah.
or whatever, but and 95 was quality.
Yeah.
Nearly got relegated, but won the Premier League. I was born in April in 85, and we were in the FA Cup final. We won the league that year.
Yeah.
But we were also in the FA Cup final against Man United, I want to say. I think it was Man
Yeah.
United, because Watford we beat
Was
the
that
year
like
before.
Norman Whiteside,
Might have been.
like...
1985, so yeah. And we were in the Cup Winners' Cup final,
Yeah.
which is now the Europa, become the Europa League. And
It kind of got merged together, didn't it?
yeah, and it's not quite like it used to be.
I used to prefer the Cup Winners' Cup to WAFA Cup.
Yeah, but it was just like the knockout format was better.
Yeah.
But he'd been to loads of the games and stuff like that, and we've got loads of the programs. But basically, because my mum was pregnant with me, and I was due, I think I was due mid to late April.
Right.
He couldn't get a ticket for the Cup Winners' Cup because he didn't know when I was going to be born, what would happen, blah, 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 blah. So he could go to the FA Cup because that was in the May.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go to the Cup Winners' Cup instead, but we lost the FA Cup. Won the Cup Winners' Cup, like the most iconic Everton game ever.
And he still resents you to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm named after an Everton player.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm named after Duncan Ferguson. Alex Young, the Golden Vision from like the 70s. It was quality. But yeah, and Everton have been shit since, so it's kind of tainted it for him there.
It's like you're a curse to the club.
Curse to the club, yeah. I went downhill after I was born. Not that I'm to blame, but it was all my fault. Sorry, boys. But yeah, 1958 World Cup did happen. Wales did go, so that's all right. Spirit of 58 and all that. Don't have to worry too much. Because it was a mockumentary, but people didn't watch it properly.
But the only thing is, it's like, but did Pele score those goals?
Did Pele score? Definitely didn't.
Did he score a hat-trick in the finals?
I'm not
It was
sure.
against Sweden.
Yeah.
They had, because it was always one of
He was
those. Like,
17 at that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was his first one.
and didn't Sweden have
Back
that,
when you could actually get an erection. That is the maddest. That is the maddest advert in it.
Yeah.
Like football player advert. Because you see some and it's like, they're a bit, like the Pepsi ones and...
Remember Ronaldo doing that Shoppy?
Oh, that was a weird one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was that like
They did some sort of like Baby Shark.
That was it, yeah.
Shoppy.
And then you've got like your classics, like your Michael Owen flying the helicopter, which you've mentioned on this podcast before.
Oh, God, it's the worst.
Blackburn Rovers with the chicken thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a brilliant
What's that?
one.
Was it Venky's?
Venky's, yeah.
Venky's chicken. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I bet they all got food poisoning after that as well.
conspiracy theory, like the lasagna.
Yeah.
The poison lasagna.
Did Arsenal poison the lasagna?
I reckon they did.
Yeah.
That was Wenger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wenger era. So Wenger was like the master tactician.
When I kind of had a look at like footballing conspiracies, one of them, it was kind of stupid really, because it's not really a conspiracy. And it was like Wenger signs Bergkamp from Japan. So basically when Arsenal signed Dennis Bergkamp, Bruce Rioch was still manager.
Yeah.
But apparently it was Wenger that wanted him at Arsenal, so they were planning on like hiring him anyway. And it's like, it's not really a conspiracy theory because it kind of did happen.
Yeah,
Like, do you know? It's like,
yeah.
Let's be honest, Bruce Rioch was never going to be, he was a stopgap manager.
Yeah, it's not really a conspiracy if it definitely is what
because they
happened.
hired him. So
Yeah.
before they hired him, they would have spoken to him.
Yeah.
They would have identified targets. And I remember at the time when they signed Dennis Bergkamp, and I was like, whoa, what a signing that would be.
Because was Mark Overmars the season after?
It wasn't long after. Because
I think it was.
It was like when they had like Overmars and Petit, and when they actually like won the double.
Yeah.
But he was like,
That was such a good team, such a
Yeah.
good team to watch at the time.
And then even when like Overmars and Petit left to go to Barca,
That was when like Henri started.
yeah,
coming in
because they would
Vieira
like
era.
they picked Bergkamp up from Inter, and he didn't really have like the greatest of times there, or I don't know whether he was unsettled or it just didn't quite work for him. But obviously his time of playing for Holland, Ajax, and
yeah.
so he was a well-established player. Because, you know, back in the days when he used to fly, like he played it in 94, the World Cup. And then, they would then start to get the likes of Henri, who was at Monaco, wins the World Cup, goes to Juve, doesn't quite happen from there. And then they pick him up, and then he becomes a legend. Like that team, when there was like him and Pires, Ljungberg. With
Freddie there.
Go on, Freddie.
He's aged well, I noticed.
Oh yeah, he's
when you see him doing punditry, he looks like that doll.
Yeah,
it's a
do you
very
remember?
accurate doll.
He had that tattoo of like a panther.
Yeah,
He got infected or something.
Yeah,
he got some infection. He got ill,
like a
really
skin
ill.
infection from like a staph infection, I think.
Yeah, because there's that he used to like model undies, wasn't it? Was it like Calvin Klein's or something?
I think it was Calvin Klein. Yeah.
And do you remember when he used to have the red mohawk?
That was the best.
Yeah,
that was prime Ljungberg.
We signed him like from Seattle Sounders.
Was that how late on it
Neil
was?
Lennon signing that?
Oh God,
first spell. I think he played about 7 games for us. Didn't really. When we're signing players that are kind of past it from MLS, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, because MLS is like the graveyard, isn't it? And if you're signing players from the graveyard,
yeah, I was going to say, with all due respect, when you've got like big European players that go over there,
yeah,
generally, yeah. I mean, although you get a lot of young American talent or just even South American talent.
I mean, have you been to a game in America?
No, I have not. Not for a soccer ball game.
Soccer ball game.
Yeah.
I have. And I'll be honest, brilliant.
The most mental
most
experience.
bonkers experience. Like, I've been to some mad football games, do you know what I mean? I've been to like Eastern European, a Budapest derby, which is a bit cracker and stuff, but Las Vegas Lights is the most fun I've had. Do you know what, right? If I had to write a list of everything I hated about football, everything about the Las Vegas Lights would be on that list.
But it
put
works
them all together, and you make it like Mexican and American. It's so funny. So we went. It was a couple of games into their inaugural season, so 2018.
Yeah,
and that was the year they joined, or became a team basically. Because they're not MLS, are they? They're the league below. USL, the league below. So like the American Championship, basically.
Yeah.
And they play in Cashman Field, Cashman Field, which is the most Las Vegas thing possible. But that, if you don't know, which most don't, it's a baseball ground. So it's like
such a weird shape.
Yeah, it's an odd shape, and it's like, so they've got a stand like most baseball grounds on like two sides.
It goes around the corner of the pitch.
Yeah, so in where the batsman would be in the corner.
Yeah,
there's like a stand either side of that on an angle.
Yeah.
Then where it all kind of goes round, there's not. They've got like boards kind of fencing up and that. But like when we got there, they had what are they called? Tailgate party.
Right. Yeah.
Outside, which for a start you don't get that at football, do you?
No.
And we got there, and it was all family friendly, which I'll come on to, but it was all good fun. It was all like kick the massive tennis ball at the fluffy dartboard, the Velcro dartboard, and that sort of stuff was going on, and people with like those hats with like the drinks and the straw and all that, and have your photo with the Bud Light girls and all that. And then the next thing you know, just heard loads of shouting in Spanish, and there was just about 150 luchador mask wearing ultras just walked past, all in black t-shirts, Mexican masks on and flares and all that going off, and I was like, this is ace, this. So we went in, and it doesn't sell out. It's not like, you know, and we kind of went behind the goal with the ultras, the singing section, where it was all mostly Mexican.
Yeah.
Fans, and most of the team were Mexican as well. And Freddie Adu.
Freddie Adu.
I don't know if he's still there. I don't think he is. I think he left.
I think he went to like Fort Lauderdale.
Something like that.
Or Tampa Bay. Or
something like that. But only recently.
Yeah.
I think it might have been last season. And Freddie Adu was on the bench. So remember when he was like the next big thing?
We played DC United when he was like a 14, 15-year-old in a pre-season friendly.
And he was amazing.
He torched us.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And then
I don't know if it's an attitude thing with him. From what I understand, I think he's got...
when you told you the next Pele at 14, you've got big like Nike, Mountain Dew, all these big sponsorship deals that he was doing. Oh, Sienna missed. Can't get them mixed up. Rivals.
Yeah, and he was on the bench, and he wasn't injured. He just was on the bench. Came off the bench and did nothing, but it was just funny to see him. But we were there, and you can hire a flag to wave, like the big flags and that.
Like at FC United of
like
Manchester.
FC United of Manchester. I don't think you have to hire them.
You just take them out of a
bin.
bin.
Old Man United ones, aren't they, in that big bin? But yeah, you could hire one for $5 or whatever. And they had loads. They were like Pride ones and stuff like that. But they also sell party cannons.
Nice.
So when they score, they say, if anyone's listening or watching this and doesn't know what I mean, it's on YouTube. Watch YouTube videos of them, like, I don't know what you'd put in, Las Vegas Lights fans or something, but there's loads of compilation videos of it and stuff. And when they score, they set off these party cannons, and there's all glitter everywhere and all that sort of stuff.
And that's not even the best bit.
No. So the the best bit for me, there was two particular highlights where, so they don't have a tunnel because it's baseball. They don't have a tunnel like football players come out the tunnel. They have the I don't know, are they called dugouts?
Yeah,
okay. They have the dugouts where the two teams, baseball teams sit, and they're like lower down, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they come out of there because they didn't sit there. To be fair, they sat on there was like a bench on the side of the pitch. They come out of those dugouts, and they had some fans holding like fluorescent neon tube lights things. But there was only about five of them, about 10 people, but 5 lights. And they do it one by one, like proper American sports. Number 2, here's your center defender, blah, blah, blah. And then they come running out, wave to the crowd, and one by one, right? And they come through, and they've got an announcer, and he's like, and here he goes through the tunnel of light, and it's not a tunnel. It's
people holding glow sticks.
It's people holding glow sticks, sort of thing, right? And they run through it, and it's daylight for a start, so it's not even dark. So they run through, and then he goes, and as is tradition, right? So we're 3 games into their entire history. As is tradition. I mean, you can do anything 3 times, doesn't make it a tradition, really, does it? So as is tradition, deep-rooted 2-month-old tradition. Stroke the lucky llamas. And they've got these 2 llamas with but dressed like what are the ones you hit with a stick, what are they called?
Piñata.
Just like piñatas with like mad colours on and that. And every player, one by one, even the subs, runs through this tunnel of light and rubs a llama's head. This is on the pitch.
It reminds me, and I've been saying to you, I've been rewatching Eastbound and Down.
Oh yeah.
And in the second season, he joins a Mexican team. And on his debut, I think it's Michael Pena, the actor. Like, he plays a character that he owns his team. Right. So he just kind of throws money at getting Kenny Powers to sign for the team. He's the star pitcher. And all the team, not many people there. And the team are out on the field. But then he has this big introduction. And then it's just like, I am a real American.
Hulk Hogan
it's Hulk Hogan's theme tune. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. Fireworks, everything going off. And he's coming out with the American flag and like doing like the suck it sign to the crowd. Nice. But do you know, it's like a really sleepy little Mexican town. And like the guy that Michael Pena plays like, the fuck is that?
That's what it was like, because the next thing they did, so they had the commentary guy again, the announcer guy, sorry, and he goes, you know, and our other tradition, you know, 3-game tradition, we know we can't start the game without, then there's like a drum roll noise. It's like, Cashman, the soccer rocker, right? And this guy come out, and he was in like an Elvis suit.
Yeah.
But not like, if you think of a man in an Elvis suit, you think of a man in an Elvis suit.
Yeah.
It's like a man in a mascot Elvis
The giant
suit.
head.
Like a massive head and big, massive arms and legs on it. And
like a Lord Farquaad head
like
in
a Lord
Shrek.
Farquaad thing. On the back of a on the back of a Harley Davidson motorbike with someone else riding it, he's just getting a seatie, doing skids all over the pitch. There's all like dust flying up. There's barely grass on it because it's a baseball ground. You can't really see the lines. There's like a bit of a lump where they haven't flattened the pitch around it.
Yeah.
And he's doing these skids everywhere on the grass, and it's all flying up everywhere. And everyone's like,
tradition.
woo, as tradition, you know, as deep-rooted tradition it is. And that's what they were doing. And the maddest thing, like that's pretty mad,
Yeah.
obviously. But the maddest thing that caught me off guard was every time the ball went out for a throw-in, they'd play music. You know, like in ice hockey when there's like a...
What about the half-time?
Oh, half-time was... Oh, the half-time. I missed the best half-time thing that they did. But what they did when I was there, they did a crossbar challenge.
Right.
But it was with a 6-foot beach ball from the penalty spot.
Right.
Can't miss, can you?
No.
Not one person hit it. Not one. And I'm not exactly... It was a 6-foot beach ball. It was massive. It was like bigger than most of the people doing it. But it was just a beach ball.
What about the helicopter?
That's what I was going to say I missed out on, because that was the last game of the season.
Right.
So they didn't do that when I was there. But at half-time on their last home game in the season, they had a helicopter hover above the halfway line and chuck, I think it was $50,000 out the helicopter to just go on the floor. And then it was like the Crystal Maze, like everyone's just like trying to grab, like fighting over, you know, like Noel Edmonds in The Thing. And that thing. And it was just like a free-for-all of all these people. But it wasn't just anybody. I think you had to win like a raffle to get on there.
Can you imagine, like, because at that level, you're not going to be making big money. Like, every kind of dollar counts.
Yeah, see the players coming out and trying to get...
And then, but like $50,000, you imagine, like, that goes a long way at that level of football.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably a star player's
annual income.
Yeah.
Could be.
Like,
I don't know what they earn in America.
But it is Vegas, so...
But it's Vegas.
Someone probably just won it on blackjack or something.
I was about to say 50 grand in Vegas doesn't go that far.
No.
I mean, I saw... Well, I didn't see because I wasn't allowed in the room. It had bulletproof glass. But when I played poker...
Were you there trying to shoot it?
I was playing poker I think it was in the Bellagio in like $100 tournament thing.
Yeah.
And there was like the high rollers room with like the glass and you could see people in it. And I didn't recognize anybody because I play a lot or used to play a lot of poker and follow it. And I didn't see anybody I recognized, but you could see there was a lot of chips on the table. And basically one of the croupier girls came out and was like, "Oh, Daniel, whoever Daniel is." I was like, "I wonder if it's Negrani." He wasn't. Daniel needs another half mil. And then the guy who was behind, because I was paying him $100 and getting him a little ticket, getting him a passport photocopied to be allowed to play and stuff. And and they're like, "Oh, Daniel needs another half." He goes, "Another?" He's nearly down. He's already taken 2 today. So this guy was 2 million down. And I was playing for $100.
Man.
On like a 3-table. Get about $1.5 if you win. And he was down 2 million at that point. But when I looked at some of the names because they had the names on. I can't remember what they were now, but I googled a few of them, and one of them was a 21-year-old, so only just legally allowed to play.
Yeah.
So in under a year, however long he'd been playing legally, he'd made something like 48 million or something ridiculous, playing cash only as well, not even tournament winnings. It's like he's up in cash this much in this one casino.
Yeah.
I was playing for $100 after watching, and I think it was actually after I'd watched the night I watched the Las Vegas Lights, which was the best football experience. But what I was going to say about it was, it was super family friendly.
Yeah,
like American sports tend to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the sport itself, but like the match day, the game experience. It's more family friendly than.
Like I've been to watch over there. I've been to watch NBA, NFL, and NHL.
Yeah,
and yeah, they're all.
There's no like. There is passion.
Yeah,
it's not. It'd be unfair to say
it's not aggressive.
It's no. That's what I was going to say. There's no aggressive.
Whereas
the chanting is "Let's go, sports team."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's not like
over here, like because over here, it must be crazy if you're
American and you start going to British.
And I've seen videos on YouTube and people reacting to the chants.
To it, like, oh my god, that's so ruthless, and I'm like, it's really not.
That's not like, you know, there are some way they're quite funny.
Some that are funny, some that are unrepeatable, like horrific.
Like we'd have both heard stuff like that was awful.
I've heard stuff and I've been like,
yeah,
makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, there's kind of two sides to the the kind of British.
Yeah.
Most of it is.
Yeah, if someone's singing to like John Joe Shelby, Harry Potter is coming for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, he laughs. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's not. It is offensive, but it's not horrific.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff I've heard, I wouldn't repeat, but I've heard stuff and I've been like, that is just gross.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Talking about people's kids and...
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, because it was so family friendly, what I think they're doing and what I think is the right thing here, I mean, I don't own a sports team, so, you know, but... Yet. Like Euro Millions will come in one day. But basically, like, their owner has ploughed a load of money into this team. I don't know if they're going to stay at the Cashman Field, whether they'll get their own ground. I hope they do.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a bit closer to the actual strip, because it's absolutely miles away. And I was there during, is it Electric Daisy Carnival? Is that the festival that they have and the big like racing track? I think it is. I think it is, because it used to be in like July and people kept dying because it was too hot, because they're all camping, but they're all dehydrated because they're drinking, and like they had like 200 deaths or something mad like that. But I mean, it was hot when I was there. I wouldn't want to camp anywhere in Vegas. But anyway,
get eaten by coyotes or something.
But so what I'm thinking, or what I was thinking, and we discussed at the time, you know, with the guys I was with, is that like there's only going to be so many football or soccer fans there. It's not a big thing in America generally, and the places that it is big and popular already have the teams. So to start a team in somewhere that doesn't have it is difficult, which is why I said about the following being Mexican, because Mexicans love football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? South American in general love football, and I mean Mexico is Middle America in it, but they already know it, like it, and follow it and stuff. But obviously, living in Las Vegas, don't get to watch it live because until recently there's no teams. But they want to build a following, which takes time.
Yeah,
you follow who you follow because of your family. Follows it because of that, and I'm the same.
Location.
Yeah, or it's either your location. Like if you grow up with like I live in Sheffield.
Yeah.
If I had a son that grew up and wanted to support Sheffield United, or Sheffield, fine. Yeah. You live here and you want to go to the games, I get that. Anyone else, you want to support Liverpool, that's a no-go. Do you know what I mean? But like, I get that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you get kind of, you support the team that you brought up supporting, unless you're, you know, one of those Man United fans that's got Everton fans for parents, or, you know, because you grew up in the mid-90s and you decided to choose United, whatever. I was basically politely calling some of my own mates glorious supporters. But so what they're doing there, by having it so family friendly and having such an involvement with kids and stuff like that outside and at half time and all that sort of stuff, and they have like the, you know, like the fan cam, that sort of stuff going on, and all like the jump around playing when you go out. It gets kids involved from a young age.
Yeah. And then that spawns the next generation.
Exactly. And it creates the generational thing. And I think that's the only way you can do it now.
I mean, for us, we go watch ice hockey in Sheffield. We'll go watch the Sheffield Steelers. I mean, they don't quite do it that way, but it's getting
not far off.
But they get the kids in. Yeah. The parents take them. They create.
They do all that daft stuff like the waving the orange towels and the lights and all that sort of stuff.
It's not for us.
It's not for me, no.
But with the football one, like as much as like we're traditionalists in a lot of ways, if there was a local club and they did that, like I would more than happily go along to experience.
Because it's funny. It's funny to experience. It is an experience.
If you do it tongue in cheek.
Yeah, you take it for what it is. If I went there in my Monday El Mag reading football hipster frame of mind, I'd have hated every minute of it.
Yeah.
And I'd have just been like trying to get a zoomed in photo of Freddie Adu putting his shin pads on. But if you go in I'm in Vegas with my mates having a laugh, it's brilliant. It's genuinely the most fun I've had at a game. It helps that the people I was with are morons as well. Because I went with my mate Steely, who you've met, and he was like, so that was it as well. So what happened was they had all the ultras, all in their luchador masks and all that sort of stuff. They're all singing and shouting all through the first half, singing the Dead creative songs and all that, which were Let's Go Sports Team and Rowdy, Rowdy, Rowdy Vegas Lights. Imagine if the light come on then. But then in the second half, it was just silent and they were all sat down. So my mate, Steely, he's played ice hockey for about, I thought, 80 years or something like that. And he doesn't give a shit. And as you found out when you met him, shout out Alan Steele, love him, absolutely love him. But he was like, why isn't anyone singing and shouting here? And then they were like, oh, we're doing a silent protest. Like, why? Oh, because the security had to go at us for being too loud, so we're going to have no atmosphere. And he was like, well, fuck security, there's loads more of us than them. And they were like, yeah. Like, started a revolt. And they were like, yeah, fuck security, fuck security, fuck security. And they all started going off again, flares going off. Honestly, mate, it was the funniest thing ever. Steely started this, because then they were like, oh, you British guys are crazy, man. And it's like, really not. He just said fuck. The security was literally one bloke in a high vis.
Yeah.
Like, they had one on each. Like, there's no, like, they're ultras, but they're not. It's their version of what they've seen as ultras, if you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't like that div with the microphone and a scarf. Shouting, come on, Seattle. It wasn't like that. And they were good fun. They were sound. Fight and win. Oh, my God, that goes through me. He looks like him off, it's that thing with the little yellow things with the eyes. Not The Simpsons. With the goggles and the dungarees. Minions. Him off the Minions. It looks like him, doesn't he? That guy with the microphone out. But it was genuine. It was good fun. It was like just a laugh. Yeah. And I loved it. And I genuinely enjoyed it, like more so than I've enjoyed most football games I've ever been to. Yeah. And I think the fact that I'm not fully invested in it, it's different. If you're going to watch your team, if you've got a season ticket.
If you're like me and just go to the shop every game, buy your merch.
Go to the club shop every game. But if you're not watching your local team, which most people aren't local to Las Vegas. I mean, even Las Vegas locals aren't local to Las Vegas. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a round trip, innit? But if you went to somewhere like... honestly, mate, it was so much fun. Yeah, genuinely the most fun I've had at a game. Closely followed by Kirsty going to her first game, which was Ferencváros, and seeing the Green Army come up the Green Monsters, coming up the thing with
Plymouth Argyle.
Green Army. Yeah, I got mixed up there. Imagine Plymouth Argyle and Ferencváros. Slightly different fan bases there. But yeah, it was the best fun ever. It was the most eye-opening experience. Yeah. And genuinely the highlight of the holiday. Yeah, to be honest.
Well, for anybody
in or near Las Vegas, or genuinely, if you're planning on going to Vegas at any time, genuinely check the fixtures and go and watch, because it's just good fun.
Also, anybody that wants to leave a comment on the craziest game you've been to,
Yeah, what crazy. We've got a few we can talk about. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about the Ferencváros on a different episode. But yeah, let us know what's the funniest thing you've seen at a football game. I think we should end it there.
I think we should, because I need a wee.
Good enough reason. Right.
Yeah. Catch you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.
Yeah.